Hello, good afternoon and welcome to News Today on your Joy News channel here on Multi TV. Coming up, NPP running mate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia criticizes government for deliberately sabotaging businesses in the country following the introduction of what he describes as killer taxes that are forcing businesses in the country out of operation. Chief Justice Regina Theodora takes responsibility for the huge number of persons on remand in prisons across the country. We'll tell you why, plus measures being considered to decongest the country's prisons. And staff of power distributor ECG stay away from work for 3 hours in protest of a planned concession exercise by government. Details of those stories plus a lot more, including business, sports, entertainment, as well as international updates, all coming up in the next hour here on News Today. Stay with us. My name is Kwabena Chencheni. Many thanks for joining us here on News Today. To our very first story, the Czar and workers of the Electricity Company of Ghana across the country today stayed away from work for 3 hours in protest of a planned concession exercise by government. Now, the workers say the action was necessitated by the unwarranted decision to privatize the state's power distributor. Beatrice Edu has been interacting with some of these workers in the capital Accra and joins me now on phone with some more. So, Beatrice, describe to us how the situation this morning was.
Yes, indeed. The situation this morning was a bit chaotic at the Aveno section, let me say. And you know that today is Public Services International Day, and the workers say that they have chosen to express their displeasure at what they describe as government decision to privatize the ECG. And they want government to give clear guidelines or roadmap so they know what's at stake. And let me tell you that they have red armbands and then headgears as well. And then there was also a red cloth hung at the gate when we got to the Aveno section this morning. And then they told me they are actually attending to customers. Interestingly, when we got out of their premises, we met a number of customers who were frustrated, and they told us that they had been told that they should go and come back after 11 and will be attended to. So I suppose since it's midday, they would have been attended to some minutes ago. But it is not just the Aveno section that this protest is ongoing. I've also been to the Roman Ridge section, which is around Accra Girls. They are also protesting. The difference is that they are doing it calmly, and you can only see the red cloth hung at the gate. I've also been to the Atimota branch as well. They are also following the same plan as the one at Roman Ridge. So, and I had a confirmation from one of the workers there that indeed this is a nationwide exercise that they have decided to embark on to register their displeasure to government. So basically what has been going on currently at the Accra Regional Office, which is around the Tamastation area, and a lot of offices here of the officials have been locked. I'm yet to find out whether they are locked up in a meeting or they did not come to work today.
Right. Beatrice, many thanks for that update. And that was Beatrice Edu with the situation here in Accra following that decision by workers of the Electricity Company of Ghana to stay away from office for 3 hours. Edwin Kofisan reports for us in the Eastern region. He has more on a similar action by ECG workers in that region as well, and he's joining us with those details. So, Kofi, can you tell us really how this whole demonstration, should I say, panned out in your region?
Well, all the regional, the district offices in the Eastern region converged at the headquarters in Koforidua, where they were addressed by the secretary to the ECG Workers Union in the Eastern region, Abraham Lincoln. And they wore red bands and they hung it around their offices just to protest against the privatization of their company. They say they held placards, some red, we can manage our own company. It is government interference that is making sure that the ECG is not working, a whole lot of them. So their issue was just one. They are against the privatization of the electricity company of Ghana.
Let's look at how this action by these workers affected patrons or customers of the ECG in your region.
Well, for the period that they demonstrated or they protested, the working or what they were doing at their offices came to a halt. No customer was attended to until they finished with the protest.
Right. Many thanks for that update, and that was Eastern Regional Correspondent Edwin Kofisian with more from that region as well. Let's now head to the Central Region and speak to Richard Kojonyak, who's also been following up on this action by the ECG workers. He's bringing us some more now. So, Kojo, can you tell us how the action panned out in the Central Region?
Well, the entire work of the ECG in the Central Region came to a halt. People who came or customers who came there were stranded. They were not attended to. The workers were in red armbands. Some of the offices too have been draped with some red outfits and all of that. So essentially, they completed the entire demonstration around 10:30, and the customers had to wait until that period before they were attended to. So that was what really happened.
Right. Many thanks for that update as well. That was Richard Kojonyak, who joined us from the Central Region with an update of the situation there as well. And it has been a planned action by workers of the Electricity Company of Ghana across the country in protest of what they describe as a government's decision to privatize the state distributor. Away from that now, we can do some more stories now. And some accountants at the St. Dominic Hospital at Akotia in the Eastern Region have been involved in the backdating of salaries of newly recruited staff of the facility. The controller and accountant general had been paying about 15 workers at least 8 months prior to their start date. Joy Mrs. Kwetinate has been speaking to some of the staff who received some 15,000 Ghana cedis even before they started working in the hospital.
I gave him that account number. He said he will check to be sure if that account number really belongs to the Controller Accountant General's suspense account. Later, I had a phone call with him. He told me the account really belongs to the Eastern Salaries. There's an account number which is from the Controller Accountant General, but it is not the name of the account number. The head of finance claims it is, so I shouldn't make the payments to that account number. And I did. The head of finance, after that letter, waited for some time, like a week, then sent another letter saying he's placed an embargo on my salary starting from May until he retrieves the amount of money in question. And it says that my account has been locked.
Head of Finance at the hospital, Yao Opokwejeyi, has admitted the anomaly but explains it was a genuine mistake they realized too little, too late.
I refused to carry out that instruction that I gave them. I gave them a deadline. I issued them a letter that, look, pay this money back to chest and submit whatever you have paid in to my office as evidence of payment so that I will know that these monies have been returned to chest. I gave them the instruction. At the expiry of the deadline, I had no option than to embargo their salaries in the account. And because of that, some of them say they don't understand why they have to return. I said, no, it's my office. The financial administration regulation tells me that where there are periods that you didn't work for and the salaries paid to you, the best action to take is to return to chest. And this is exactly what my office is doing.
Public Relations Officer of the Controller and Accountant General's Department, Robert Kujo, however, tells Joy News the institution considers the anomaly a serious one, hinting that the Controller and Accountant General's Department will be investigating it in the coming days.
Information regarding the payment to about 50 staff at St. Dominic Akotia Hospital hasn't come to the attention of Controller. I was only made privy to the issue today, and all that we can say is that we will investigate the issue and know exactly what is happening at the St. Dominic Hospital at Akotia, and anybody found culpable will be brought to book.
More on this in our news and news analysis program, The Pulse, which airs at 3 p.m. on the same channel. Away from that now, and it's been 10 years since the Disability Act was passed by Parliament. However, persons living with disability in the country still seem unhappy about the extent of implementation so far. Earlier on News Desk, we looked at how persons with disability are affected by the slow pace of implementation of this law. Two gentlemen suffering disability, Charles Opong, who happens to be spokesperson for the Ghana Blind Union Association, as well as Alexander Tete, chairman of the Ghana Disability Forum, have been expressing some misgivings on the slow pace of implementation.
If there's a job that disabled people should be given against an able person, you see, society looks at who can do or who have greater opportunities. Okay, who has greater opportunities? If I have to struggle to go to school and complete a first degree, okay, my chances of getting many jobs is limited, or my chances of getting a lot of jobs are very few. As compared to somebody who can run and jump and do other things.
Now you are calling on government to do some more about this. I mean, what more do you think government can do? Because obviously this thing is now law. This act has not been put into law. So from that side, a lot has been done. What more can government do? What more do you want government to do?
The more we want government to do is to come up with an employment policy.
An employment policy.
Employment policy to say that in the establishments, if 5% of your workforce should be person with disability. Okay, if transport system or transport operators must make sure that their vehicles are accessible to person with disability, both private sector, not only government. Government, if you are importing buses, okay, you have persons with disabilities in the country, you import buses where disabled people cannot access, is it not discriminatory?
Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood says she accepts full responsibility for the huge number of persons on remand in prisons across the country. At least 3,000 suspects remain on remand. This was revealed during the premiere of the latest documentary by Seth Kwamboating, Left to Rot. Here's a News Desk report.
Inside the cells, the picture looks horrifying.
Thousands are locked in prisons for months, and in some cases for years. Not because they've been convicted of a crime, but simply because of failures in the legal system. It was the subject of Seth Kwamboating's documentary, Locked and Forgotten, which won him the GJ Journalist of the Year award last year. In his latest documentary, Left to Rot, Seth Kwamboating returned to the country's prisons, where he found the situation is not improving fast enough, despite significant work done after his previous report. This has been blamed on failures in the system. At the premiere of the documentary in Accra yesterday, Chief Justice Georgina Theodora Wood said she accepts full responsibility for the failures in the remand system.
After watching this second one, I'm not too sure whether the judiciary is to blame for all the difficulties that we have. But I think that it's becoming more and more clear that in the long run, the buck stops at the judiciary. And you know, we are the protectors and defenders of all, including remandees. And I know how judges are. They are sometimes caught between a rock and a hard place. Should I discharge or shouldn't I discharge? If I discharge, is the police not going to rearrest and put the person before another judge? And then this case that I have in my hand is murder. I haven't had the opportunity to look at the bill of indictment yet. So we can't really, at this point in time, say with conviction what the likelihood of success is. Oh, it is robbery, and there's been a rape. So to tell you our work is very, very difficult. But as we watched Barnes and Boating's second part of Locked and Forgotten, I began to think that at the same time we've got to take our human rights provisions seriously. We have to. So Ghanaians being prepared. We'll look at our human rights provisions again, and we will work out what is required of judges when trials are not as expeditious as they should be. You know, because even for the few that are discharged on account of the justice for all program, the judiciary receives quite a lot of bashing. When there's a re-offending or roughly somewhere, everybody starts shouting, look at the judiciary. They have let loose prisoners, they are harassing us again. But I think we will look at the human rights conditions and we will deal appropriately with all those persons who either ought to have been tried and convicted or acquitted of this charge. The other thing I would like Ghanaians to know is that what we call self-recognizance bail does not come cheap. You know, you have to first to look at the nature of the offense, and then the person, whether the person is a high-risk flight, is likely to attend trial. You have to rubber stamp, self-recognizance. Even if the person is facing a charge of robbery, and robbery is a serious offense. And so we accept that the buck stops at the door of the judiciary. We're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to look at all the laws that we have on our statute books, in the Constitution, on our statute books, and then in relation to case law.
To deal with the crisis, the Chief Justice is setting up remand courts in the various prisons to accelerate the delivery of justice. The first of such courts, located at the Nsawam Medium Security Prison, is being headed by Justice Humeto. He shared the achievements of the courts at Nsawam so far during the premiere of the latest Joy News documentary, Left to Rot, at the new court complex in Accra yesterday.
Human rights barometer of every nation is measured by the way it treats its prisoners. So the question I want to ask is, how do we treat our prisoners? I'm very privileged to have been the first judge to be appointed to preside over cases at the Nsawam Medium Security Prison. Ever since we had the first sitting on the 14th of October 2015, we've had over 300 applications, including bail applications. We've also had appeals, and a lot of things are ongoing there. And I can tell you that the inmates are happy. They are happy for the simple reason that they know that justice is at their doorsteps. And they know also that when they come to the court, justice will be done, and it will be safe to have been done. So we are working in tandem with the Ghana Prison Service, as well as all other stakeholders, like the Ghana Police Service. And I'm very happy that the Director General, not the Director Legal, is here. We are cooperating. The Director General of Ghana Prison Service is also cooperating.
Meanwhile, claims of police misconduct when arresting suspects on remand by the police will be investigated by the Interior Ministry in due course. The Deputy Interior Minister James Agaga explained to Joy News that the ministry will do all it can to combat these infractions by the police service.
At our own level, there are agencies under the Ministry of the Interior, and so when we're ready, we would send out the invitations and they would all respond. So that the idea is to put some fear into officers who have the tendency to misconduct themselves. You saw from the documentary how officers deliberately decided to punish suspects without any just cause. We believe strongly that officers who behave in that manner should be brought to book and dealt with appropriately. So we're going to have a discussion and a conversation would center around enforcing the regulations strictly. The regulations are already there, but would be encouraging the, of course, heads of the agencies, the IGP and others, to strictly enforce their regulations to serve as a deterrent to, officers who would want to misconduct themselves in ways that are unacceptable for purposes of justice administration.
You're watching News Today here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. We're taking a break. We'll be back shortly with some more stories. Stay tuned. Many thanks for staying with us here on News Today. To some more stories now. And the opposition NPP has criticized government for what they describe as deliberate sabotage of businesses in the country through the introduction of high taxes on utilities. The party's running mate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who made the point, said the high tariffs have put undue pressure on businesses, making it difficult for them to survive. He was speaking on the topic, tackling Africa's high unemployment rate, a challenge for the New Africa, hosted by the NPP Youth Wing and the Democratic Union here in Accra today.
To really deal with this problem, we've got to understand the nature of the unemployment problem in Africa. And by and large, you see that the unemployment problem in Africa is largely a youth unemployment problem. Because 3 in 5, the data shows that 3 in 5 of Africa's unemployed are youth. So you are really talking about 60% of the unemployed being in the youth category. One of the things that we have to admit is that, and looking at the difficulties of creating jobs, is the fact that we really live in a globally competitive economic environment. And so businesses and investors have virtually an unending stream of options on where to locate businesses or where to invest. I think the lesson, or the abiding lesson, is that we live in a globally competitive world. And we have to, every country has to understand that particular reality, that we all are living in a globally competitive world. And so the production is no longer just focused to your own population. You'll have to be attractive to other markets.
Away from that now, and the UK may not be leaving the European Union after all. That's the prediction of an international relations expert and head of academic affairs at the Armed Forces Military Command, Dr. Vladimir Nchudanso. Speaking on News Desk earlier today, Dr. Nchudanso said, though many believe the UK will be voting to leave the EU today, the implications of such an action will be too dire for the country, a situation he strongly believes will compel the UK to remain in the European Union.
We need to be worried, especially if Britain decides to exit the union. We need to be worried because it would mean the implications are dire, In the first place, it means Britain will have to realign a lot of things. Integration has a logic. It is trade-induced. It is a discriminatory kind of arrangement in order to break down barriers among the members who form the union. If you add politics, you are jeopardizing that logic. And that is what Britain wants to do right now. And the EU itself has shot itself in the foot and bringing this upon itself by adding politics to integration, or economic integration by trying to move too wide. It used to be only 7, 11, then 15 members. It was very stable when it was 15. Now, due to the demise of communism and the fall of the Soviet Union, they want to move eastward. And that has brought a lot of problems. Greece, a problem. Turkey, a problem. Romania, all of those countries are all wanting to be part of the EU. And now they have 27 to 28 members, actually. And that is what is creating a big economic problem. That's number one. Number two, Britain has not been fully part of the union because they still hold on to their currency.
Yeah.
The common currency, the euro, influences the British economy one way or the other. But it's some kind of nationalistic pride to have the Queen's head on their currency. So they've been one way or the other quasi in the union, but fully they are members of the union. So anything that is happening in the union happens to them also in terms of common external policies like industrial policy, common agricultural policy, and all those policies. If they should get out, then Britain is going to be like Ghana, dealing with any other individual country on their own different lines. So they will have to realign, renegotiate trade agreements with several other countries like China, Russia, but they have a common policy towards China, a common policy towards USA, a common policy towards any other country, common policy towards Ghana, West Africa, and things like that. Britain realigning these agreements mean that we will have to be affected. Again, the pound is wobbling a little. The more the pound wobbles, the better it is for us. But how do we trade with the EU? Again, the EU supports a lot. They support ECOWAS, they support the AU. In actual fact, about 67% of the AU funding comes from the EU. If Britain goes away, it means there is a shortfall from the British side in terms of contribution, which means the EU will have to scale down how much they give to the AU. So in any case, if they should get out of the union, we might feel the pinch.
Let's look at, we'll be coming specifically to how directly it's going to affect us, but let's look at the UK itself. Let's start off obviously with what has necessitated this move, and then we could now look at how the UK itself might either benefit or lose by leaving the EU.
In actual fact, what has necessitated this is a long history, and almost at every elections, it becomes one of the issues raised. The Conservatives especially try to, I think during the time of Tony Blair or so, move this agenda very strongly in order to catch votes. It's one of the untidy kind of unethical way of trying to get votes in every country. You try to see the sentiments of the people, and so those things were moved way back. But at any time that they come so close to a referendum, it is shelved. It is shelved until David Cameron made it a promise also some 6-7 years ago or so when he was about coming to power. So now people are saying, hey, look, you said you would do that. Why don't we go to a referendum? So there is now a nationalistic push that, David, come on. And now he is unwilling. He himself is not advocating for an exit. But at the same time, the people want it. So you have no choice but to go to the referendum. That's why we are there. We are there at the referendum because, again, I think the trigger point has been the wobbling nature of Europe itself. First and foremost, since 2008, we have had this economic downturn globally, and it has affected Europe substantially. Then we have this political landslide where ISIS came in, and there's this efflux from those poorer countries and an influx into Europe. And then the European, computation of accepting migrants. Germany, for example, will not be affected by the migrants, the influx of the migrants. But several other countries like Britain and others will be severely affected. So you saw that Europe started having cracks on this migration policy, and it affected all other policies. Then nationalism started coming in, and so that is why the nationalistic feeling is now stronger in Britain than in any other place.
We're taking a break here on News Today. We'll be bringing you updates in the worlds of business and sports after these messages. Stay with us.
Now time to do some business, and the latest report from Bank of Ghana indicates that credit extension witnessed a significant decline from 2014 to 2015, resulting to some cut in credit to enterprises. The report also revealed that lots of businesses struggled in getting access to credit from banks last year. Jojo has more. He's been actually going through the document and has come through with this particular report.
The Financial Stability Report by the Bank of Ghana attributes the decline to the inability of funds borrowed by businesses to be paid back on time for the decline in credit. The report shows that despite the drop, private sector still accounted for the largest share of loans granted compared to the public sector, with most loans going to commerce, finance, construction and the energy sector. For many, the development was expected, as some banks like Standard Chartered Bank had already indicated that it will limit credit to some sectors of the economy due to the high non-performing loan rate. The development, according to the report, resulted in a decline in profits of some commercial banks. For a lot of bank managing directors that Joy Business have spoken to, if the situation does not improve in terms of paying back these loans on time, as well as the economic environment, they might be difficult to grant loans to businesses in the coming months.
And the industrial sector of the economy has been one of the biggest casualties as a result of recent decline in commodity prices. Latest GDP estimates from the statistical services show that industry did not record any growth. The mining and quarrying subsector, for instance, went down by more than 10%. Professor Peter Korte, an economist, assesses what can be done by government to improve the situation, looking at the sector's role in the economy.
The decline in commodity prices, especially gold, diamond, and the rest, and as well as the high cost of utility tariffs and the like, has really affected businesses, especially the mining and quarrying sector, as we see sharp decline in its performance. To revamp this or reverse this, I believe, is for us to have very pragmatic policies where we will ensure that the high cost of doing business is significantly reduced within this sector. Industry performance in this quarter is worrying in the sense that oil and gas, one of the major sectors of this economy where we have tend to put our hopes on, has recorded negative growth rates. Then also mining and quarrying, which is also one key sector. And therefore, it's quite a problem for us to address to ensure that we reverse the decline. Otherwise, our export revenues are likely to decline. Our foreign exchange revenue would continue to decline. And that is not good for our exchange rate management.
So that will be it for business here. We have more business stories for you on the marketplace at 1. On the marketplace today, we are looking at the reasons why the Electricity Company of Ghana and their staff actually still maintaining the fact that government should not privatize the company. We're looking at that more on the marketplace as the workers embarking on some strike here in Ghana today. All these and more, we'll be looking at it on the marketplace between 1 and 1:30. My name is John Kojamo. Coming up next is your sports.
Good afternoon, my name is Baba Tanda. Let's get talking sports right here, right now, and we begin with Under-20 World Cup winning goalkeeper Daniel Nana Ajay, who has officially signed for Ghana Premier League side Mediama SC. Now the 26-year-old joins the Takwa-based side from Liberty Professionals, where he ended his contract. He joins me on phone with details of his contract. Hello, Daniel Ajay. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for your time.
Okay, good afternoon.
Daniel, tell me how many years or how many months have you signed for Mediama SC?
I've signed for the season, end of the season. Then from there, if everything is okay, then I'll sit down with them, with my manager, then we extend the contract.
Okay, I know Mediama SC has a very good goalkeeper in the person of Muntari Tego. Now, are you looking at becoming Mediama's #1 goalkeeper?
I think the 3 goalkeepers they have and Sai, they are all good goalkeepers. And I believe that I'm also a better goalkeeper. I'm here to work hard. If the coaches see my effort in training and they decided to allow me to keep, why not? I'll do my best for the club. I respect the club very well. So I'm working hard to have my chance to play for Mediama FC.
Okay, I know that you know that the 3 other goalkeepers are good and definitely you would want to work hard. But tell me, what really is your target? Do you intend to become Mediama's #1?
For now, I just joined the team. I'm going with their philosophy in the team. I'm working hard for being number one. To me, everywhere I go, I try to do my best. If the coaches see my effort that I'm doing the best, what they require me to do, I know the sky will be my limit.
Thank you very much, Daniel Ajay. And so, are we looking at seeing you keep for Mediama in their first game this weekend in the Premier League?
I hope so. I'm working hard to start, but if the coach says I should sit at the bench to watch how they still play, I will respect the coach's decision. But I'm hoping to start.
Thank you very much, Daniel Ajay, for your time. And Daniel Ajay has joined the Premier League side, Mediama SC, till the end of the season. And then following which he would sit down with management and his manager to see if he wants to extend the contract or not. So let's move away from the from Mediama SC, but let's still stay within Ghana Premier League. And Hearts of Oak's new Portuguese Portuguese coach Sergio Daniel Munir Chaguil will be unveiled to fans and the media in a few minutes. Now, the Portuguese coach who previously worked for the youth teams of Sporting Lisbon and Benfica was appointed by management of the Accra-based club to take charge of the under-20 side, which is Auroras, and under-17 side, the Royal Oaks. But after the sack of Japanese coach Kenichi Yatsuhashi earlier this week, Chaguil took charge of training of the senior side of Hearts of Oak. Now, we're going to be going live to the Secretariat of Hearts of Oak, that's in Adabraka, to speak to Benedict's Joy Sports, Benedict Owusu, who is with Joy Sports. Hello, Benedict. Good afternoon, and are you at the Secretariat? Okay, we're going to get through to Benedict in a while, but let me just inform you that for today and tomorrow, there will not be matches in the ongoing Euro 2016 competition. There's a break for the round of 16 matches, which will begin on Saturday. So you should stay tuned to your Super Hits Radio Joy 99.7 FM for commentary on all of the games that we played in the round of 16. We're going to see if we're going to get back to Benedict. Otherwise, you can head to the sports page of myjoyonline.com for most of the stories that you've heard all over Ghana, and of course what's happening in Africa. You can get through to the sports page of myjoyonline.com. Let's go back to the phone lines and speak to Benedict Owusu, who is at the Secretariat of Accra Hearts of Oak. Hello, Benedict. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon. The coach, that's Sergio Chaguil, he's been in town for some time now. He's been brought in. Initially, was brought in as the youth coach of both the under-17 and also the under-20 team. But when Kenichi Yatsuhashi said, not to stay after the management, or when he decided to go away after he told the management that he had a 25-day engagement in India, then, it became necessary for Accra to then take the decision of, allowing the Portuguese trainer to step in as the main coach. And as you noted in your intro, today is the day had officially unveiling the Portuguese trainer. He has already started work. He's been to the training ground. He had his first session with the team today. So at the Secretariat, where I am now, he's supposed to, interact with the coach. As I speak to you, and the set was going to start as well, but we are yet to start. The coach just walked in. He's dressed in an all-black outfit. He looks very friendly. Interacted with some of us. He was asking if we had good sleep last night. And was telling us how, he's loving Ghana. So as I speak to you, we are waiting for the officials of Accra to bring in the coach to the conference center, so we'll start the celebration here.
Thank you very much, Benedict Owusu, who is with Joy Sports and is currently at the Secretariat of Accra Hearts of Oak, where they are getting ready to unveil their new coach, that's Portuguese Sergio Daniel Munir Chaguil, in a few minutes. You can get details of all of those, or all of that event at the Secretariat on the sports page of myjoyonline.com. We are also tweeting live at Joy Sports GH on Twitter. You can also follow us on Facebook, where we'll put some updates. We're there as Joy Sports. I will personally be tweeting as Baba Tando. And so that's it for now. That's your sports. My name is Baba Tando. Good afternoon.
And that'll be all for the news this afternoon here on your Joy News channel on Multi TV. My name is Kwabena Chencheheneboati. There's more news when you log on to www.myjoyonline.com. Up next is the marketplace with John Kojo Makon. Many thanks for your company.